All right. So first of all, for the internal discussion, we want to welcome you tonight. I want to make sure that either Mel or Melissa Craven or Holly are working the screen, and we can move along with our presentation for tonight.
Yep, I am ready to go. I'm just seeing if Holly has logged on yet. I know she's trying to call on by phone, but Superintendent Phelan, I can get it started if you would like. Just let me know.
Sure. Why don't we get started? It's 6:42. Our families have waited a little bit. I'm sure they have young people in their houses that they need to get to. So I'm going to welcome everybody. We have, my name is John Phelan, Superintendent of Schools. We have a wider range of folks here tonight to talk to you about the Milton Public Schools overview of full-day kindergarten. We have some discussion in slides about curriculum, kindergarten registration, health services, transportation, school assignments, communications, and additional resources. We apologize for the makeshift work tonight for our Zoom call, and I am going to recognize Melissa Craven, Assistant Principal at the Glover School, and start our presentation.
All righty. Thank you so much, John. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Kindergarten Information Night. Again, thank you so much for your patience. Zoom, for some reason, just does not want to work for us right now. But slowly but surely, we're all getting on. So here is our agenda for tonight. We're just going to go through some of the important information that you need to know while we get ready for registration, some deadlines that are important, talk a little bit about our curriculum, what a day in the life of a kindergartner looks like. Then we also will talk a little bit about special education as well as health services, transportation, what school assignments looks like, and then we'll give some time for questions and answers at the end. Here is just a quick little snapshot of who is on the call. So we do have Superintendent Phelan on the call. Assistant Superintendent Koza will not be joining us tonight, but she has helped us with some of our slides. We have Assistant Superintendent Katie Blake on the call as well. Ms. Wetmore, who is our Director of Student Services, Principal Concannon over at Collycott. She is on. She's just trying to get her audio working. Myself, the Assistant Principal over at Glover. We have Kim Coughlin, Director of Nursing, Natalia Perez, Director of Food Services, and Martha Sandoval, Director of Community Schools. We also have just right here, just the rest of our elementary leadership team, although we have representation from Collycott as well as Glover. Please know that our Cunningham and Tucker friends are also very involved in our slides and as well as kindergarten information night. So here's just a little preview of what the Milton Public Schools looks like. We have roughly 4,500 students in any given year. We have a preschool in our Cunningham and Tucker elementary schools, as well as a K-5 at Collycott, Cunningham, Glover, and Tucker. We have one middle school, the Pierce Middle School, that is 6 to 8, as well as Milton High School for our 9 to 12 students. And then community schools programs, it runs through all 4 elementary schools. You can get more information at the Milton website. So kindergarten, I know sometimes we might get worried, are your kids ready or not, but we meet every child where they are. We respond to each individual need. Every child is coming in at a different level or different experience. Some kids are in full-time preschool, others are in daycare, others are at home, and we will meet every single individual child where they are. All right, so all of our schools are full-day kindergarten, and they are free of charge, which is awesome. That happened about 9-10 years ago, where kindergarten became tuition-free. So there are multiple opportunities to reinforce academic and social skills throughout their kindergarten day. However, there are opportunities even outside of the school day as well, whether it's through before school community schools. We have enrichment opportunities at all 4 buildings. Really great opportunities. All right, so full day kindergarten, it is a 1-year program. So your child will enter next year in the fall of 2026, but they will be entering grade 1 in the 2027-2028 school year. And again, we talk about that student readiness. Your children, they develop in different ways and at different times, and we recognize that and understand that. And we are here to help them in any way possible, whether it's through their academics, social skills, all of it. And Principal Concannon, if you are on the call, let me know. Here is just some more information. Again, these slides, they will be sent out, and this will all be on the Milton Public School website. So if there's information that you want to learn more about, this will be right there and linked. And there's more information on the link that's on this page. Just talk about school readiness. We understand that some may be a little bit nervous about their child entering school this fall. But again, there's so much out there about ways to kind of make it feel better for you and to make you yourself feel ready, because the kids will be ready. I know it feels big and scary, but they're ready. And when they come to school, they end up just loving it and they grow so much. All right, so like we said, we meet children where they are, and here's a picture of some friends over at Collycott from 2 years ago. I'm sorry you're hearing a lot from me, but I will get into the curriculum. And so just to highlight, we have such wonderful curriculum here in the Milton Public Schools. We have a wonderful English language arts curriculum that we are, though, right now looking into a new curriculum to start the next year. So we won't really talk too much about our ELA curriculum right now, only because we are under a full curriculum review, which I'll talk a little bit about in a later slide. However, we do have lots of curriculum for math, science, technology, health, social studies, art, as well as social emotional. So like I said, our ELA curriculum, we are finishing up year 8 of our Reach for Reading curriculum. It served a great purpose and it was wonderful, but we are very excited to dive into a new ELA curriculum. Our Director of Literacy, Kat Young, is leading a group of 15 Milton Public Schools educators, ranging from kindergarten to 5th grade. Actually, I think this week they're going to a couple of different districts to observe a few of the top choices, and they're going to come back with what they feel is best for the Milton Public Schools, and we will be starting our new ELA curriculum this fall for all grades K to 5. We will, however, continue to use UFly, which is a wonderful, wonderful supplement to our ELA curriculum that really explicitly and systemically teaches kids, introduces them to the foundational reading skills necessary for proficient reading. We use this in our K to 2 classrooms as well as our grade 3 French immersion classrooms. So it's explicit, it's systemic, it's whole class lessons, but then it also breaks into really great small group and independent lessons. And it's really routine based. So the kids are working on one specific sound throughout the week and they're building off of those skills as the week progresses. And then they go into a new sound, while also continuing to practice the previous sound as well. For math, kindergarten actually uses Bridges into Mathematics. It's an awesome curriculum. We do not use Bridges for our 1st through 5th grade students. They use HMH, but Bridges for kindergarten is wonderful. It's very explicit. It really focuses on just comparing whole numbers as well as describing shapes in space. And there's so much to do. The number corner is so awesome to watch. Actually, just last month, Superintendent Phelan, myself, and Principal McDavitt here at Glover, we were in a kindergarten classroom observing a lesson, and the number corner is just really incredible to see what kids can do just even by December of their kindergarten year in terms of patterns and recognizing numbers and being so brave to talk about it in front of their whole class. So it's really wonderful to see in action. Our social studies curriculum, we are on year 3 of our status curriculum. And what's really great about our social studies curriculum with our current literacy curriculum is that they go hand in hand. They talk so much about maps in your place within a community. Community is a huge piece of kindergarten. They talk, talking about all of our differences and what makes us a community, talking about maps and where we are on a map, starting from a map at our school all the way to our town, to our community. It's wonderful. For science, we use the FOSS curriculum. And again, we have FOSS we've been actually using for about 8 years now. There's always going to be an earth and space science component for every grade level, as well as a physical science component for every grade level, and a life science component for every grade level. Again, our current literacy program goes hand in hand with our science curriculum. They have the same topics and big questions that kids are going to answer. But the science curriculum here in Milton is wonderful. It's really hands-on, as well as a lot of great literature and texts that go with it. So this is the fun part. It's a day in the life of a kindergarten student. The kindergarten teachers across the district at all 4 schools are just the absolute best. They know your kids so well, and they give them so many opportunities for choice, as well as voice, and really just kind of having ownership of their own learning. So although I'm going to give you like a general what a day looks like, just know that each teacher is different and it might look a little different, but for the most part, this is what a day in the life of a kindergartner looks like. They're going to come to school. They'll put all their stuff in their cubbies. They each have their own cubbies within their classroom. They'll make their lunch choice with their teacher. They'll most likely sit on the rug for a little morning meeting, talk about the calendar, talk about the weather, get to know each other. A lot of teachers start their day with a greeting. Each kid will greet another student and get to know a little bit about each other. Then they typically, after their morning meeting and calendar time, they jump into their literacy blocks. Literacy blocks are very hands-on, quick chunks, whether it's a chunk of whole group learning, and then they kind of dive into their moving around the room. They might start with a spelling area in the room, vocabulary, read aloud, literacy centers, writing, all of it. They do snack. Here at Glover, our kindergartners eat later in the day, so they have snack earlier in the day, where some schools might have their lunch block earlier in their day, and then they'll have their snack later in the day. But either way, definitely send your student to school every day with a snack or a lunch, or both, but we do offer free lunches right now, but Natalia will get to that later. Each classroom will have an art class, a music class, a technology class, and a PE class, and a library class throughout the week. Then they go into their lunch and recess. Then they'll have a math, a science, learning stations, or social studies, sometimes a combination of both. But again, no matter what the topic is, they will do a lot of hands-on group work, partner work, moving around the room. They're not really sitting at a table for very long. It's on the rug, then they're off the rug, over to their tables. And they always do a social emotional learning lesson, whether it's through Second Step or it's embedded in their morning meeting. And then at the end of the day, most classes end with a choice time. And I'll get into what choice time looks like because it is the favorite part of the day for most kindergartners. Our learning stations that you might see through ELA block or a math block or a science block, there's going to be hands-on options in those learning stations. There probably will be a technology option within those learning stations, an art component, maybe a STEM, dramatic play. There's so many different manipulative and enrichment opportunities in the day and in their learning centers. And then at the end of the day, for that choice time block, kids can pick between building with blocks, Legos, different drama, dramatic play, different kitchens. They have all these magnet tiles, science and STEM activities, technology, classroom libraries. They have so many different centers that the kids can choose from, and every day kids might go towards the same preferred choice, while others might end up choosing something different. But the great thing is they can explore, they have that option, and they can choose what they want to do every day. So I believe I am now handing it off to the Director of Special Education, Danielle Wetmore, to talk about special ed and 504 plans.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Danielle Wetmore, and I'm the Director of Student Services in Milton Public Schools. So I'm going to talk a little bit about special education and 504s. Some of our students require specially designed instruction to access the curriculum. and those students will have a varying level of special education needs if found eligible for an IEP. Supports and services are available district-wide for those eligible for an individualized education program, and the parents and school teams will be part of an evaluation process to determine the supports needed in the kindergarten, in their kindergarten classroom. And yearly after that, you will have an IEP meeting to determine the level of supports each year. Most students with an IEP receive appropriate supports in their neighborhood school with special educators. We do have some students who require more substantially separate programming, and those are specific to area schools. So our Glover School has our language-based program, and our Achieve classroom. Our Collycott School has our partner program. Our Tucker School has our Quest program, and our Cunningham School has our Foundation program. You can find all of the descriptions of those programs in our on our website in the Special Education Student Services drop-down menu. Staff who work with students as staff working with students as outlined in the IEP, including related service providers, speech and language therapy, occupational therapists, BCBAs, board certified behavior analysts, and physical therapists will all be in communication with you throughout this process. If your student is currently at our preschool, in our integrated preschool or a substantially separate setting, they work with parents on transition planning into our kindergarten programs, identifying the appropriate placements for your students. If there's an additional specialized level of need, we do have specialized programming. Now I'm ready. Additionally, some of our students in kindergarten require a 504 plan. A 504 plan is not special education. It is under the Americans with Disabilities Act, the Section 504 part of that Americans with Disabilities Act. So eligibility for a 504 plan is determined using a three-pronged approach that considers a physical or mental impairment. It substantially limits a major life activity, and students who require a 504 are found eligible through an evaluation process where a team determines whether the disability is substantially limiting to their ability to make academic progress. If a student qualifies for a 504 plan, they would receive accommodations to support their work in the general education classroom. And I will turn this over. Oh, and additionally, I'm going to turn over to Kim Coughlin, who will receive some of the health 504 plans for students who have medical diagnoses such as allergies or diabetes. So Kim, I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you so much. Welcome everyone. Thank you for taking time tonight to meet with us. I'm Kim Coughlin, the Director of Nursing. I want to go over some of the health requirements that we're going to be asking you as part of registering your child for kindergarten. This first slide goes over the immunization requirements that the Department of Public Health requires for every student coming into kindergarten in the state of Massachusetts. Those are the required doses of each immunization. You can double check that with your student's most recent physical. The physical exam should be dated within the past 12 months, and you're going to send that in along with the results of a lead screening and a vision screening. And when we meet with you during kindergarten screening, we individually talk with each family and go over what you've submitted, and we'll let you know what is missing and what we expect to receive from you before the first day of school. We also are in charge of the Massachusetts state mandates for screenings for public school students in Massachusetts. This is the list of the grades that we screen per the Massachusetts guidelines. Every year through our Power School platform, parents have the right to opt out their student. It is sent via a link in the superintendent's update. You can look for it during those first 3 weeks of school. We ask that you, if you are going to opt your student out of these state mandated screenings, that you do it then, because with 4,400 students, we start screening early on in the year. And this is to catch any referrals. So if you get a letter home saying that your child did not, say, pass the vision screening, that just means take them for further evaluation. It could be as simple as they had allergies that day and couldn't pass the test at that time, but it's a way to make sure that all students are healthy, ready to learn, and are available to take part in all parts of the curriculum. So this is the list of the screenings that we do. It does include BMI, SBIRT as the students get older, and a great resource is on our website, the Health Services tab. That will tell you, you can click on each thing and it will give you information about what each screening is and what it entails. Some important health information that I'd like to give you, and you can also find on our website, is please have up-to-date emergency contact phone numbers for your students. If there's ever a playground injury or your child develops a fever during school, we want to be able to call you and to be able to talk with you about next steps of how your student would get the care that they need. It's also important that you share the pertinent medical information with your school nurse. This is current allergies, medications, and chronic conditions. Even if your student is taking a medication at home, it's important for us to know, because symptoms of that medication, say a stomach ache from taking the medication on an empty stomach, would be very different than a norovirus that would have the same symptoms. Make sure you have a plan if your student needs to be dismissed early. We really ask that you have someone who is available to pick up within 30 minutes. As you can imagine, when students don't feel well, although they love our nurses, they really want to be home. For kindergarten, we ask that you send an extra set of clothing, socks, sweatpants, underwear. It is totally acceptable, and we roll with it. If kids have an accident during school, we work with parents. That's one of the questions we always get at kindergarten screening is about toileting and what if they're not trained. I just want to tell you, please do not worry about that. Don't stress about it. We do have extra sets of clothes in the nurse's office, but your child will feel so much more comfortable if they have their own clothes that they can discreetly change into. And then there's always, they're having a great time at recess. So they might get their socks dirty or they might fall and they want a change for that. Keeping your child home when they're sick is also very important. This is to help everyone stay safe and healthy in school so that we're not spreading illness throughout the classroom. If you have a question, you can always look on our website. It happens all the time. Your child develops a fever and they're home, but then they sleep well through the night and the next morning they look fine. So you might wonder, can I send them to school? The answer is no. They need to be 24 hours fever-free before returning, but all that information is on our website. We want your student to come to school when they are fully ready to participate in all activities. So that's the question that you can use to gauge when you are assessing them to see if they are now recovered enough to come back to school. And then again, just to reiterate, please fill out all those PowerSchool consent forms. There are consent forms for over-the-counter medication. We can give Tylenol or Motrin. The nurse will call you to get permission, but to have that written consent sometimes helps with things like a headache, and that way they can stay in school.
Good
and then
evening.
I will pass on back to Mel or Holly. Great. Welcome, Holly.
Yes, thanks, Kim. Good evening. My name is Holly Clencannon. I'm the principal of the Collycott School, and happy to join you tonight. Had a little technical difficulty in the beginning, but hopefully you can all hear me fine now. Right now, I'll be representing Brad Spindle and Serena Burke, our registrars, who will be helping many of you through this process, and wanted to give you a broad overview of what's going to happen between now, January, through September. So tomorrow, kindergarten registration opens up. All of this information will be posted and sent to you all. It will be included in all principals' newsletters as well as on our website. So you'll have all of this information at your fingertips tomorrow, so please don't feel like you have to remember absolutely everything today. So registration will begin tomorrow, and it will end on Friday, February 13th. So between now and then, I'm going to walk you through what needs to be done. But before that, just know in April, school assignments will be sent out, and they will be sent only to those who have completed registration. That means all of the documents are completed in PowerSchool, and there are people to help you along the way if you need that help, including any of us here tonight, but especially Brad Spindle and Serena Burke. And the registration email, registration@miltonps.org, would go directly to them. In May, all schools will host kindergarten screening. This is a favorite day for us. It's a chance for children to go to their assigned school and to meet with the teams who will be servicing them next year. And really, it's just a chance for us to get to know students and support any significant needs that we may see during that time. During May, you'll also hear about transportation and registration for Milton Community Schools. In August, there will be transitional school-based events and teacher assignments will be sent out. So each principal will communicate to their new community about some really great activities, including things like popsicles with the principals and come and tour the schools, things like that. And then in September, you will have, kindergarten students will have an orientation. Milton Public Schools starts prior to Labor Day, and on those first 2 days of school, kindergarten students don't come for school days, but they will be invited in for orientations. And then the first day of school is typically the Tuesday after Labor Day. And we are waiting for next year's calendar to come out, but all of that should be solidified soon. But you can definitely look for some transitional activities late August, early September. So now let's talk about what that will look like as we move on for the registration process. All students must be 5 years old on or before August 31st, 2026, so that's a non-negotiable. Parents and guardians who have completed the kindergarten enrollment interest questionnaire will receive information about how to electronically register. You will need the following documents in order to register. You'll need proof of residency. You will need an original birth certificate, health and immunization records. There's a home language survey that is really important, and we encourage everybody to complete that because that may lead to services to support your child with English language vocabulary. There'll be a video and photo release form, which will give us permission to share photos of your student. And also you will need a parent and guardian photo ID. We will not accept hospital records. We will need an original birth certificate. So as far as the registration process goes, Milton Public School has now moved to everything is online. So tomorrow, Friday the 16th, online kindergarten registration will open. And the deadline to complete registration for the first round of assignments, that should be February 13th. So families will be notified of your student's registration and must submit all missing documents by February 13th. For those without computer access, a hard copy of the registration packet is available at the Milton High School entrance. And students under the McKinney-Vento Homelessness Act, students who reside in a situation that fits the legal definition of homeless may qualify for certain support services and exemptions from the usual enrollment requirements. You just need to contact the district's liaison for that, and the phone number is right here at 617-696-5040. If you have any questions, please call and we can help walk you through that. The home language survey is really important. Some people might not feel like this applies to them, but we want to encourage as many people as possible to complete the survey to determine the language spoken in each one of your homes. And this just would identify specific language needs. The information is essential in order for us to provide meaningful instruction for all students. So the home language survey form is included in the registration process, and it identifies students who are bilingual or multilingual, immigrants from countries where languages other than English are spoken, raised in families who speak languages other than English. Once identified, students are assessed to determine English language proficiency, and students needing support will be provided that support in school. We do have unbelievably talented staff who support students who are learning English as a second language. So again, if you have any questions about that, please reach out and we can help you complete those forms. I apologize that I've been saying February, but registration for the first round of school assignments must be completed by Friday, March 13th. That's correct. Note that registration is ongoing, but school assignment will be based on student enrollment and date of completed registration. So those of you who complete your documents as soon as possible with Fidelity will be placed according to that timeline. If we are waiting on documents, you may be put on hold, and we don't want that for you. We want to work as great partners to you. So if we can help you get any of those things done, please reach out for help. So there are 4 elementary schools: Collycott, Cunningham, Glover, and Tucker. These are the current times for this school year. Collycott and Cunningham are connected, same timeline, and Glover and Tucker has staggered hours. This helps with busing and things like that. Students who register on time will be assigned a homeschool. However, we know that certain situations may come up. And, you know, if you have a preference, there is a way to put down a request for a different school, and that link is available to you as well as part of the registration process. But we really hope to place everybody in their homeschool as much as possible. If there is an over-enrollment, which has happened from time to time, students may be asked to go to a neighboring school. If there is an over-enrollment of students at a particular school, the following criteria will be used to assign kindergarten students. If you have siblings, you will be placed in the homeschool with the siblings. We also sometimes have volunteers that, even though according to the school listing, are assigned a certain school, some people may actually be closer to another school. So we have had people volunteer to leave or to request to leave. So we always try to use geographic proximity to help us. And any school request will be reviewed. And again, sometimes it comes in handy to have volunteers to do that. But sometimes in cases of over-enrollment, we will have to place students at other schools. So the school assignment plan. The grade 1 school program assignment, you should know that students who are in kindergarten as of March 1st will be assigned to a school or program for grade 1 before students who attend kindergarten outside of the Milton Public School. Parents and guardians of students who do not attend Milton Public School for kindergarten will forfeit any sibling priority under the student assignment policy for grade 1. In grade 1, there is a choice between French immersion and English innovation pathway. You don't need to worry about that right now because this time, well, actually February, March-ish, when your students are in kindergarten, we'll invite you back for a grade 1 information night so you can learn more about the grade 1 choices. Okay, now I'd like to introduce Katie Blake, who will talk to you a little bit about the transportation.
Hi, everyone. I am just going to briefly review the transportation options that we offer as a school district. So students in kindergarten through grade 6 who live 2 or more miles from their assigned school qualify for free bus transportation. So we do ask that you register when transportation registration opens. But if you live 2 miles or more from your assigned school, your student can ride the bus for free. We do also offer transportation for riders that live within the 2 miles of their home and the school, but transportation for those students is a fee-based program. And so the fee for transportation per student that is currently charged is $325, and that was for the current school year, the 25-26 school year. And there is a family cap of $650. So the family cap just simply means that if you have 4 students riding the bus, you only have to pay for 2 of those students, but all 4 students are offered a seat on the bus. If you do register after the deadline, and we give about 6 weeks for families to register, but if you register after the deadline at the end of June, you will be subject to a $50 late fee. More information for bus registration for the upcoming year for your kindergartners will be sent out after the school assignments are completed. And it's really important to note that the kindergarten students must be supervised by an adult at the bus stop, and that includes morning pickup and afternoon drop-off. And I think I am going to be turning the slides back over to Mel.
Thank you so much, Katie. All right, so just going to touch upon the family-school partnership. It is so important that the schools and the families have a really great, solid foundation of communication, because as we all know, you are your child's first teacher, and we want to have that partnership with families so that we can ensure that they have the best success here in the Milton Public Schools. There are so many ways that you can stay informed with the schools, and as well as being involved in the schools as well. So we do have a website, the Milton Public School website, that has all of our information that you would ever need. And then once you are assigned to a school, you will get your principal's weekly emails. You will also be getting emails from your teachers. We do understand that sometimes lots of emails might be overwhelming, and we try to be mindful of that. So we do try to stick with one whole school email to the families each week. You might get a direct email from the school about a specific topic that we find is kind of important or critical to have its own standalone email. But we do try to limit that because we understand that lots of families are getting so much communication that at times it can be a little overwhelming. Within the Milton Public School website, there are tabs to see more information on specific schools. There's also on the website, you can find school committee policies. So if you're interested in learning more about some of the policies we have here at MPS, there is information on the website. We also have superintendent updates that go out. And then we also there's a Facebook group for the Milton Public Schools, as well as an Instagram account. And that just kind of keeps you updated with really fun events that the kids are doing here in the schools. Then a really important part of the communication piece is our Power School website. So that's where you'll get some communication. You're going to get all the information about your child's teacher. That's where you'll find out their teacher every summer. You'll get classroom information, there's resources, and then there's also, that's where you'll get report cards and any other information like that. So again, you will start receiving your school-based communication from your building principal by the end of April. And that's when you are assigned a school, and then you'll be getting information about things like kindergarten screening. There'll be a schedule that goes out. You'll know what block your child is coming in for their screening. That's also where you'll get information about any summer activity that your school is offering for kindergarten students as well as new families. And you'll also be able to reach out to us whenever you'd like. So if you have a question that maybe we didn't touch upon tonight or in the next few months with email communication, feel free to either email your building principal, assistant principal, and they are more than happy to help. Even if you end up switching schools because you request a different school and you find out in August, still email your assigned homeschool building administrators. We are more than happy to help really any family navigate some of those questions. Some transitional activities that each school does, again, they're all different. We do popsicle nights, we do school tours, we do this kindergarten screening, principal coffees, meet and greets, all of those different activities. And if you can't attend one of the scheduled activities, again, just reach out to your building principal. We're here really all summer, so we're more than happy to show you around and get to know you. The buildings are cleaning. They do get cleaned throughout the summer, so really that's more August that we can kind of offer those times to connect, but just know that there will be plenty of opportunities for you and your child to see the school. You might not see the classroom until your orientation day, which is The first 2 days of schools for our 1st to 5th grade students. Our kindergarten students start after Labor Day. And again, I know the school calendar hasn't been out yet, but either way, the first 2 days of school, those will be the times where your child's teacher will schedule an orientation block for you and your child in a small group of students. And that's the time where you can really get to know your child's classroom. But in the summer, getting to know the building, the school, some of the different teachers who are here, they're really great opportunities just to start that familiarity with the school. And now I'm going to pass it off to Natalia Perez, our Director of Food Services.
Hi, everyone. I'm Natalia. So in the state of Massachusetts, every student is entitled to 1 free breakfast and 1 free lunch. That is regardless of the free and reduced lunch program of their eligibility, which I will explain further. But if a student is getting any additional items, so outside of the reimbursable meal components, if they're getting a water or an extra milk, or let's say the student brought a home lunch and they're getting a milk but didn't get a lunch with us, those are at a cost. So we do have a prepayment option called My School Bucks. They will need their unique number, or you will need their unique number to set up an account. So just reach out to me and I'm happy to provide that. I will show you in the next slide what our menu looks like and discuss allergies, and that's on our food service website. So the next slide. So this is a snapshot of what this month's menu looks like. It is an interactive menu. So if you look on the right side where it says emoji waffles and the turkey sausage patty, you can actually hover over the items on the menu and it will show the nutritionals, the allergies in it. There's a section at the top where you can put your students' allergies and it will actually cross off the items on the menu that contain those allergies. So with that said, please reach out to Kim Coughlin and myself if your student has an allergy so we can make those accommodations and have necessary documentation for that. As you see on the side, we have gluten-free choices and that's on a rotation, but we are happy to modify and serve what the student would like. So for instance, on Thursday, on the 8th, we have hamburger, so we could just swap that for a gluten-free bun if they choose. So regarding the free and reduced lunch program, since every student is already receiving a free lunch, if they are eligible still for the free and reduced lunch program, I'm the only one who sees that information because it's confidential. So if you fill out this form, the sharing benefits form, I can let other departments know. So like Katie said with transportation, that is a fee-based program, but if they are eligible for free, they can qualify for financial aid. So please fill that out so I can alert other department heads for financial aid. And now I will send it off to Martha Sandoval.
Thank you, Natalia, and good evening, everybody. My name is Martha Sandoval. I'm the director of the Milton Community Schools program. We run the early school or before school program, after school, early dismissal, and school vacation program. We take great pride in offering high quality out of school time enrichment opportunities for students in kindergarten through 5th grade at each of every elementary school. We'll start briefly sharing information about early school arrival program known as ESAP. ESAP runs Monday through Friday, opening 7 a.m. to until the school day begins. That will be at Collicutt in Cunningham, 8:20, and Glover and Tucker at 8:50. During these times, students participate in calm, engaging activities such as board games, puzzles, reading, simple crafts, and gym activities. Breakfast, as Natalia mentioned, is available at all sites, and our staff is able to support students with transitions that will be from going to breakfast into the school day. Families have the option from 3 different attendants. They can choose to attend Monday through Friday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that's 3 days a week, or 2 days a week, which that will be Tuesday and Thursday. Our after-school enrichment program, known as ACE, also operates Monday through Friday on days when school is in session. And that runs from school dismissal until 6 p.m., except on early dismissal days when our program closes at 5 o'clock to allow time for our staff professional development for our team. In ACE, we provide a fun, supportive environment where students can socialize, they can explore interests, they can build new skills, lots of fun, great activities. In particular, for our kindergarten students, we keep them in a separate group. They are picked up by our staff directly from their classrooms at school dismissal. The afternoon begins normally with the snacks that they will bring from home. So make sure to pack extra snacks and recess. Then we start, it's followed by group activities at 3:30 with a transition to a second activity at 4:30. Activities change daily, and we normally have a schedule that is posted on our website, and it's included in our bi-weekly newsletters. And they may include outdoor and indoor play, arts and crafts, gym, and other seasonal offerings. We also partner with third-party organizations to provide specialty enrichment such as nature exploration, chess, team building, and movements, and other different activities. At 5:30, students have choices designed to help to unwind before heading home. Families may pick up children anytime after 3:30. We strive to maintain a ratio of staff-student ratio of 1 to 10. Just like ESAP, the ACE program offers the same 3 attendance options. That will be the 5 days, 3 days, or 2 days a week. Our current annual tuition for both the ESAP and the ACE program, which is shown on the screen, is divided into 10 monthly payments. The first payment is due at registration, and then families with multiple children are able to receive a sibling discount. We also offer tuition assistance for those families experiencing financial hardship. In addition to that, we offer, and it's a complete optional programming on early dismissal days that requires a separate registration for students who are enrolled in after school. That again runs from school dismissal until 5 p.m. Those are the only days that we close 1 hour early. In addition, we run full day vacation programs during winter and school breaks from 8:30 to 3:30. And it's open to all Milton Public School students in grades K to 5. If your child may need reasonable accommodations to access our programs, we encourage you to reach out directly to us. We're always happy to meet with families and discuss any individual needs. We send information about our enrollment process right after you get your school assignment. That will be sometime in April. So don't worry about trying to remember all the information. We're giving you plenty of information. There's information on our website under the Milton Public Schools under the departments. And everything will be posted. We will obtain your email. So we will be sending out emails with all the details of enrollment and what the next steps will be. We appreciate your time this evening. Thank you for your patience. I'll now turn things over to Principal Holly Concannon and Superintendent John Phelan.
Thank you so much, Martha. I think we have a few questions that came in that Melissa Craven's going to facilitate for us, and any one of us can answer them as we go. And I think we'll wrap up in just a few minutes after we answer the questions, and we'll open it up to Superintendent Phelan to close the night. So Melissa, what do you have for us?
Before we go to Holly, I just want to Melissa, I want to thank everybody for their presentation tonight, but I also want to let folks in the audience know that the chat function is working. If you send a chat in a question form, it does go directly to the panelists, and we can answer your chat question through that mechanism. So I know the chat function is not working for all folks to see. The questions go directly to us as panelists, and we will answer them as we go along. So thank you, and Melissa, thank you for working this process.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to go through the questions that have been asked. Like Superintendent Phelan just said, if a different question you have has not been asked, just go ahead and type it in the chat and we'll go through it. So there are a few questions about an email list and how they can join. And I believe, Holly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when they go through the process of registering, they will be added to an email communication list.
That is correct. And so the previous questionnaire is actually not necessary at this point because we have the registration process, because we're all online and it's going live tomorrow. You only have to worry about that process. Once you register, you will be added to a list. And until then, just keep paying attention to Milton Public Schools website. You can go on there now and you can see all the information about kindergarten information night, preschool information night, and this presentation will be posted, the still presentation as well as the webinar that we're doing right now. I also wanted to remind students who are currently with us in our preschool program that you should have received an email about registration from Bernadette Butler, who is our preschool coordinator, and she will go through how to complete registration for current preschool students as well.
There's a question about where they can find the kindergarten enrollment interest questionnaire. And again, that's part of the process of registering for kindergarten.
Right, so last year they were two, sorry, Melissa. Last year, those were two separate things. This year, everything will be involved in the one link that will be open tomorrow. Also, I know some people have tried to click on the link to request a different school, and that's locked right now. That is purposely locked and will open once registration is opened.
I do see.
So I think I may have answered a couple of your questions.
Yes, you did. Thank you. It does look like there's a couple questions that might have been answered as the presentation went on. One was scheduling a school tour to see the classrooms. Like I said, by like the middle of August, end of August, for sure, all the classrooms are typically kind of clean by then and back to what they look like during the school year, because July and end of June, they don't always look like they do right now while they're deep cleaning. So yes, there will be opportunities for you to get a peek at the classrooms. What does drop off and pickup look like if you're not on the bus? Do you have to get out of the car, stay in the car? Is there a loop? That's a great question. And this question will be it's going to be specific to each building. So for example, we have a moving car line drop-off pickup here at Glover, and I believe most schools kind of operate in that capacity because it gets the kids in and out quickly. But just know that no matter how your child comes to school, there are plenty of staff that are there to assist and to help get your child, especially our kindergartners, to and from where they need to be. We have plenty of staff in the hallways, outside as well.
I can add on to that. Is it okay if I just chime in? I can speak for Cunningham and Collycott because we do share a campus, and Cunningham and Collycott students are greeted at a specific door if you want to walk them right up to the door, and we do have rolling drop-off where students are dropped off in the back. They're greeted by a staff member. They exit the driver's side, and all of this will be communicated as part of orientation and also as part of transitional activities. But students will be monitored each and every part of their day. So once they step out of your car, they are escorted by an adult from the sidewalk to the cafeteria, through the building to their classroom for both Cunningham and Collycott. And I know Tucker has the same type of rolling drop-off. So it's not a valet service, but we do allow you to stay in the car if that's something you prefer to do.
We do have, Martha, we have a question here about the registration for this, when it can start for after school and if it's a lottery based.
Yes, thank you. Registration, we send out the information in April, and the timeline normally in May, we receive, you will fill out your intent to participate, or we call it interest questionnaire. And then it opens for about 2 weeks in May. And then we make an announcement based on how many forms we receive, how many submissions we receive, if we're able to accommodate everyone, of if it's going to be a lottery, if the number of requests exceed the number of seats available. It's hard to tell right now whether we're going to have a wait list or not, because it really depends on the enrollment every year. Last year, we did have a lottery and we did have a wait list. We were able to accommodate the students who submitted their interest questionnaire form in time within 3 months. And this current year, we were able to actually accommodate all the kindergartners that submitted their interest questionnaire right away. So they were able to start in September. And then I saw another question about the tuition. The tuition that was shown on the slides, that's an annual tuition. for both programs, before and after school programs, and they're divided into 10 monthly installments. That information, again, you can find it on our website.
Thank you, Martha. There is a question here about students who might not attend kindergarten in the Milton Public Schools and whether or not they are eligible for French immersion in grade 1. Superintendent Phelan, would you like to take that question?
Sure. Good evening. The assignment for grade 1 will come about a year from now for all families on this call. For all families who are in Milton Public Schools, you will be assigned first to your grade 1 assignment, and then all families that come in after that who may take kindergarten outside of Milton will be assigned by June. At this point in time, in the long history of our French immersion program, we have not had anybody denied for first grade enrollment for French if they came in after the fact. So again, first round of assignments for all students K to 12 or K to 11 will be done by April, and then all new students living in Milton for kindergarten going elsewhere would be assigned in phase 2, which will be done in June. So again, we do not anticipate any difficulty accessing the program. Keep in mind that might not be in your home school. It may be at another building. It would be space permitting in which school has the most space.
Thank you so much. We have a question here about potential impacts of staff cuts for kindergarten. I do have to say that every single kindergarten classroom will have a full-time teacher as well as a full-time paraprofessional that support the kids throughout the day. But Superintendent Phelan, maybe if you want to add anything else.
Sure. That's a great question, and Melissa Craven is correct. There will be no budgetary impact to kindergarten next year. We feel like whatever the result of our reduction size may be, and as we work with the town continuously on a day-to-day basis, it will not impact our kindergarten program. We will be sending out more information to our families, and we will be doing an article in the Milton Times in order to provide an update. And I encourage everybody to watch school committee meetings in order to get updates if they would be interested in information that is impacting the other parts of the district. But kindergarten for next year will not be impacted.
Thank you so much. We have a question here about if the schools are peanut-free. So each individual classroom, they typically do not have any peanuts allowed. Really, they try to avoid most tree nuts as well, especially if there's a known allergy. But in the cafeteria, there are tables that are designated for a peanut-free table where there is absolutely no peanuts allowed. However, in the cafeteria elsewhere, if it's not at one of those designated tables, they are allowed to have peanuts.
And I just want to jump into, I forgot to state that we are nut-free in our kitchen. So all 5 kitchens, because Collycott Cunningham share a cafeteria, we are peanut nut-free. So if they're getting a lunch with us at school, rest assured, no nuts.
And I can jump in again. You can see on our website, MPS is allergen safe. And what that term means is that any classroom is peanut and tree nut free. So we ask that parents do not send any snacks that contain peanuts or tree nuts. You may also get an email from your teacher or as part of the classroom communication that a student in that specific classroom has a high allergen to, say, sesame or strawberries, and you might be asked during that school year to also avoid sending that in for snack time. That communication will happen from your school nurse and your teacher. You can bring peanuts to the cafeteria for students that bring home lunch. So there could be someone having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So we ask that if your student does have allergies, to please contact the school nurse. We have allergen safe tables where you can opt to have your students sit, and anyone sitting or eating at those tables will have lunches that are free of the top 5 allergens. And just like Natalia said, anything that your child will receive that they get for breakfast or for lunch from Milton Public Schools is peanut and tree nut free. And if you've told us that your student has another allergy, the school nurse works closely with food service to get that put on your student's profile. So even if I use sesame as an example, you might always have sesame-free hamburger buns at home, and they'll think it's safe. So they might go to buy a hamburger bun that has sesame in it. When they put in their code, the cafeteria staff will know that this is an allergy for them and help them choose something else, a different style bun that they can have the lunch with.
I just want to also add in, any parent that reaches out to me regarding allergies, I'm happy to meet with you in person, introduce you to the kitchen manager, show you how we handle allergies. So don't be shy to reach out to me. I'm happy to meet with each and every one of you individually.
Thank you both so much. So there was a question about the reading curriculum. So there is a full curriculum review team happening right now for a new ELA curriculum. However, we will continue to use UFly, which is an explicit and it introduces students to the foundational reading skills necessary for proficient reading. However, our actual curriculum, like for the rest of it, for all kindergarten through 5th grade, I apologize, is under review right now with Kat Young, who is our literacy director, leading a group of 15 educators throughout Milton Public Schools. So there will be an announcement in the next few months about what curriculum MPS decides to go with. Then we also have a question again about the questionnaire for the kindergarten enrollment. You will get access to that when you register for kindergarten. We have a question here. How does a school day look for a non-English speaking child? So, Danielle, would you like to answer that one? Or I don't mind answering it.
Hi, sorry, I'm unmuting. Happy to answer it. Yeah, so all of our students are provided our general education students first. So whether they have a disability or English is not their first language, we all provide students with equitable access to our general education curriculum. Our students who register through the kindergarten registration process, if you answer yes to any questions on a home language survey, which all of our students are, all of our registrations are required to have a home language survey. If you answer yes to any of the questions, either someone will contact you or we will, and we will have a home language or a language screening tool. If the student meets criteria for English language services, they'll be assigned an English language multilingual teacher. There is one at each school building. So your student will receive a level of support from that English language teacher. That teacher also provides support to the general education teacher in the classroom as well in terms of strategies and supports that may help them. Also, all of our teachers in the district are SEI endorsed, meaning that they have all taken a coursework in supporting students where English is not their first language. Anything else, Melissa, that I missed in that?
No, I think that was great. That was perfect. Thank you so much. So we have a question here that says, if families move within Milton during kindergarten, will they be reassigned to a new school or are they able to stay at the same school? So you will absolutely be able to stay at the same school that you were assigned to, even if you move mid-year. We have a question here. It was mentioned that the student would be placed in the neighborhood school. However, if an older sibling is not in a neighborhood school due to past over enrollment, will the sibling match the older sibling's school? So yes, if the family prefers to stay with the sibling, they will be assigned to the school of the sibling, unless Principal Concannon or Superintendent Phelan would like to add more.
So thank you. You should, as a family, register your child from the school that your older sibling attends, so you are involved in that list. And please note on that you, even though your address is maybe for Glover, but your sibling is at your older child is at the Cunningham, please register as a Cunningham child, and we'll work that out as we work through the process of assigning students to school.
Thank you very much. Holly, I'm going to see if you can answer this one. What is the preferred residency proof to provide?
I can also,
it's all on the website. There's a very clear document and a checklist for folks to be able to demonstrate residency in the town of Milton. It usually comes into several categories. One is if you're a homeowner, There's a list of items that you would need to check and provide a copy of. If you rent an apartment or lease an apartment, you would have a list that's similar but a little different. It would require a lease versus a deed, a copy of the deed. But most of the other documents are listed in a similar fashion. So the document that you have to present are outlined on the form that is provided to you when you register.
Thank you. Just to clarify, we have until March 13th to register. Yes, you do, but I would recommend trying to get some of that paperwork in just in case you're missing anything. Because like it was mentioned during the presentation, they are expecting all of the necessary paperwork by March 13th. This is a great question, and Danielle might have the answer. I have a child who does speech walk-in services. Just curious if I should be registering him starting tomorrow or if this falls under the current preschooler umbrella.
The student, as long as they were evaluated through Milton Public Schools and are receiving drop-in services through Milton Public Schools, would be considered a current preschooler.
Thank you. If you would like a school placement that is not your neighborhood school, are the placements given according to the order of request? If not, what factors are considered? I will let Mr. Phelan answer this one.
Sure. So if you request a transfer for whatever reason, the first thing we do is register everybody at their home school. And if their sibling is at another school, they would register with that school being their home school. And then when folks want to request a different school, we consider all the transfers at the same time. And we look at that in a way of availability in the building that you're seeking to go to. So class size is super important. The distance from the school that you are seeking to attend. So for example, if we have someone who lives more towards Cunningham but happens to be in the Glover district and they would like to go to Cunningham and they live very close to Cunningham just because the boundaries are drawn, we would tend to want to make sure that we offer that school as their secondary choice or their transfer choice before someone who may live farther away in order to just create as many walking opportunities or short distance opportunities as we can. So it's based on space availability in class, and it's also based by distance from the school that you would like to attend. And obviously, as we referred to earlier, siblings in that school.
Thank you. This is a great question. How do you support children who have never been exposed to children with disabilities to help them compassionately understand about learning differences in the classroom? So like we said at the beginning, we really do meet children where they are, whether it's both academically, behaviorally, or socially. We do so many whole school and classroom lessons on differences and why we are all part of a community. And we can also always, if some kids need extra conversations, that's why we have 2 teachers in the kindergarten classrooms. They're there to support and really help kids navigate each other's differences because every child comes in with exposed to different things, whether it's, academic skills, behavior, or social. So we really do meet them in all areas where they are. This one is, could you share about your school safety practices? Do you have an SRO officer on each premise? So I can answer a little bit about that. So we do have 2 Milton police officers who work closely with the Milton Public Schools. However, we do not have a specific one on each campus, but we do have every single door is locked. All entrances to our front doors at every building is a 2-door entrance. And Mr. Phelan, I'll let you finish it up.
Sure. Great question, too. Thank you, Melissa. The door security during the day, the buzzing system at every front door, the double entries in every front door, asking folks to badge in, asking parents to sign in with visitor passes. Our resource officers are assigned mainly to the middle school and high school, but they do connect in every single school throughout the year. We also have safety drills throughout the year for every school, starting with traditional fire drills 3 times a year or maybe once a quarter, which would be 4, and also stay-in-place drills with our police department. We stay connected with the Milton Police on a regular basis. I just attended a tabletop presentation in an emergency role play last week with our town administrator and our police, fire, and DPW. And we have a safety meeting coming up at the end of the month of January, actually tomorrow, I believe, with principals to review safety plans for all of our schools, all of our students, and all of our staff.
And if I could just add, as principal, I'm really proud of the security system we have in place, including cameras, including a badge system to enter our building, which keeps track of all of our visitors. And if I could just let you know now, when you're at that point when you're frustrated because we're looking for your license, whether it's our administrative assistant at the front or all of our after school and before school workers, we will ask you for identification. And that will be true for your babysitters and grandparents, aunts and uncles. So that's just a general practice. It sometimes can be frustrating. People go back to the car to get it, but people end up being grateful for it later down the line. So security is something we take very seriously. As someone who's been in other districts and visited other districts, I really take great pride in the work, the funding, and the commitment that this district has made to security.
Thank you both. What is the staff to student ratio in kindergarten? Since there are 2 adults per kindergarten classroom, it's about 1 adult to 10 to 12 kids, depending on enrollment years and numbers. This question, I'm going to give it off to Kim Coughlin. It's my child turns 5 in the summer and will get his 5-year-old vaccines after registration is complete. So how is this handled?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, there's definitely going to be kids that are born in the summer, and that's when your annual appointment will be. Please submit the most current physical exam with immunizations that you have upon registration. When I spoke about talking individually with parents, that is during the screening time, which happens later in the spring. You will already know what your school assignment is at that point. We will have a conversation with you about what vaccines are missing, give you a reminder, and also give you the email of your school nurse that you can send those directly to. School nurses return from their summer vacation a week before our students, and our kindergartners start even a couple days after. So we have a full 5 or 6 days to get all that paperwork squared away, and we will touch base with you during kindergarten screening about what you might need. But please submit whatever you have as the most current, even if you know that more things are needed or that you have a summer birthday where you're going to be adding to that over the summer.
Thank you so much. There are a few questions to clarify about what a first step for registering would be, and I would recommend the Milton Public School website. On the main page, there is a big button for kindergarten information, and when you click it, all of the links are right there. Holly, anything else you want to add about first steps? No, audio. Yeah, so I would go right to the Milton Public School main page. It's like a big picture right underneath. If you scroll down a little bit, it says kindergarten information. If you click that, all of the links are right there in order to get started with that process. Is there a way to share the slides? We will have those slides up on the website. They should be there, I would say, by the end of tomorrow. Let's see, we have just a couple more. I recognize the time. We are getting to 8 o'clock. Danielle, this one might be a question for you. A current IEP preschooler, but they're in a different neighborhood school. How would that work? Transfer services to the neighborhood school or keep the child in the current school?
We would, depending on the level of need for the student, our first go-to is ensuring our students have the opportunity to be in their home school. So looking at the teams do a really nice job of articulating student needs and ensuring that we can support them in the least restrictive environment, which is their home school. So that is the ideal. However, we understand that some students need more restrictive programming.
Thank you. How do we know which school is our home school? There is a link on that website when you click the kindergarten information that has a list of all the streets. There are a few streets that are multi-school streets. So there are a few Cunningham, Collycott overlap streets, as well as Tucker and Glover streets. So if you are on one of those flex streets, it's really going to be dependent on enrollment. But that list is right there on the website. And then we have just a couple more. And then we will be done. So one question is there a max number of students in each classroom? We do try to limit the number of kids in kindergarten to about 22 to 24. Right now, our kindergarten numbers are dependent on school. But we try to say 22, 24, and then it does ask if it changes per grade, and it does. We get move-in students throughout the years, so they do typically go up in numbers as the kids progress through the grades. What if a family is anticipating a move, but their current address is zoned for a different school? Could they request enrollment in the school for the neighborhood they expect to move to rather than transferring the following year? So that will be dependent on the August school transfer, I would assume. Superintendent Phelan, is that correct? That if they register for a certain address right now, they'd be placed in that home school, even if they are anticipating to move to a different neighborhood school? Oh, actually, we can't hear you.
So, John's having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But
I would say historically, sorry. I would say historically, yes, you would have to. Oh, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for that question. You should register now in the home that you live in with the documents you can provide to demonstrate residency now. And if your residence does change within the town of Milton, then you would have to demonstrate that new address. And then if at that time you wanted to transfer, we'd see what the room was, availability was at the school you'd like to go to, and deal with that transaction at that time.
Thank you so much. And then there's just one more follow-up question about school assignments based on street that is on the Milton Public School website. And I do want to thank you all for being so patient with us, but if Holly or John wanted to close it, that is it for questions.
Sure, and John, I'll have Superintendent Phelan close us out. While he does that, I'm going to launch a poll for you all. It's a very short 2-question survey, which will help us serve you better this year and next year. So I'll be launching that right now. Also want to let everybody know that all of the slides and the registration, everything will be posted on the Milton Public Schools website tomorrow by noon. So that'll be there for you. So here comes your poll, and Superintendent Phelan, take it away. Thank you all for your patience. We should be really good at this by now, but there's a challenge every year, and thank you for being patient. This is a lot of information. We're all available to you. We're excited to start this relationship with you. It's a great place to be, so welcome.
Holly, thank you. You couldn't fit it anymore. I want to thank Melissa, Kim, Natalia, and Katie Blake for being here. This is a great group of professional folks and educators, and they can't wait to meet your children during the spring. And we are so excited to bring the kindergarten to Milton Public Schools in the fall. We cannot wait to create that 13-year relationship of kindergarten through graduation from high school. This will be a great experience for you and your family. Thank you again, and always feel free to reach out. The superintendent's number is 696-4808.
Thank you all.